Rulers and droolers. My friend Julia and I were jumping rope outside our two houses. It was a sunshiny afternoon, robins hopping, daffodils blooming, breezes blowing, bushes sneezing. Wait a minute. Bushes don't sneeze. Besides, I know that sneeze anywhere. It belonged to Ripley McDougal. Whenever we played, he spied on us, but his allergies always gave him away. Ripley, get out of there, I ordered. I walked to the bushes, hands on my hips, as Ripley untangled himself from the prickly branches. He climbed out and screamed, Aye! Chopping the air with his hands and kicking his leg out to the front like some kind of crazy karate kid. I crossed my arms and glared at him. Go home, Ripley. Leave us alone. He kicked to the side. You can't make me. It's a free country. Julia grabbed her jump rope and turned to leave. I've got to do homework. See you, Laney. I tried skipping rope, but Ripley kept running in front and blocking me, doing his funky kung fu moves. He was working so hard at it, a bubble of spit appeared out of the corner of his mouth. Girls rule, boys drool, I shouted. It sounded good, so I yelled it again. Girls rule, boys drool. Then, since three's a charm, I yelled it a third time. Girls rule, boys drool. Ripley stopped kicking and stared at me like I'd grown a second head. That's what it felt like, too. My head seemed to weigh 100 pounds. I reached up and touched something hard and pointy. It's a crown. You're wearing a gold crown, Ripley yelled. He started to say something else, but I couldn't understand a word because all of the liquid pouring from his mouth. He lifted his shirt to wipe it off and got the fabric soaking wet. Slobbered spilled down, puddling at his feet. My head pounded. I pulled at the crown, but it was like it was superglued onto me. Ripley tried to speak, but instead let loose another river. It finally hit me. Hey, I really do rule, and you really do drool, which is totally disgusting. Ripley stepped back into the bushes. Smart thinking because they looked like they hadn't been watered for a while. I sat down to tug at my crown, but it was no use. I scooted closer to Ripley, staying away from the muddy puddle he'd made. I leaned my head towards him. Get it off me. It's way too heavy. Ripley yanked and yanked, but the crown didn't budge. It hurt so much I started screaming. Julia ran outside, holding her baby brother Elliot. What's going on? She asked, her eyes bouncing between Ripley and me. Elliot reached up and touched my crown with a big, toothless smile. Julia frowned. Laney, does this have anything to do with the rude thing you say about boys? I hung my head, my crown pulling at my neck. Yes, I admitted, and guess what? 3 times really is the charm. Well, then, you better undo it 3 times, unless you want to be known as the weirdo princess girl, Julia said. Ripley nodded, splashing me. Okay, okay, girls don't rule. Boys don't drool. Nothing happened. 2 more times, Julia urged. Girls don't rule, boys don't drool. Girls don't rule, boys don't drool, I chanted. And just like that, my head felt light again. I touched my head and felt my curls instead of a crown. Ripley looked completely dry. I'm sorry I was mean, I told him. But why do you always spy on us? Because I want to play with you. There aren't any boys my age on this block. Oh, I'd never thought about that. Playing with Ripley would be better than being spied on. I handed him my jump rope. Here, count how many times you can jump in a row. I gave a karate kick to see what it felt like. Kind of fun, I thought, as my hands chopped through the air. Maybe Ripley could give me lessons. Rulers and Droolers, question 1. What are the names of the 2 main characters in this story? Julia and Laney? Julia and Ripley? Laney and Ripley? Laney and Elliot? Question 2. What 2 things happened when the main character yelled, Girls rule, boys drool 3 times? Question 3. What type of story is this? A. Nonfiction, not fake. B. Science fiction. C. A tall tale. Or D. Fantasy. Explain why you chose the answer above. Question 4. Why was Ripley spying on the girls at the beginning of the story?